in the heart of Colombia's Antioquia region, amidst poverty and rolling hills, a boy was born who would rise to become the world's most feared and mythologized drug lord. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria entered the world in 1949, the son of a schoolteacher and a farmer. He was raised in the gritty neighborhoods of Medellín, a city bubbling with unrest, inequality, and unspoken opportunity. From an early age, Pablo showed signs that he would not be bound by the rules of the world he was born into. He wanted out, but not by way of education or honest labor. Escobar's path would be carved in deception, ambition, and blood. By his late teens, he was already dipping into the underworld, selling contraband cigarettes, faking lottery tickets, even stealing gravestones to resell them. But these petty hustles were merely the beginning. In the 1970s, as the world's desire for cocaine swelled into an insatiable hunger, Escobar saw an opening. The white powder wasn't just a drug, it was a ticket to power. And he took it. With ruthless precision, he built the Medellín cartel, transforming it from a local operation into a global drug trafficking machine. Cocaine was processed in jungle labs, packed into submarines, suitcases, and aircraft, and shipped north into the United States, where demand soared. Escobar's business thrived on a scale the world had never seen. By the 1980s, he controlled more than 80% of the global cocaine trade. His wealth became the stuff of legend. Reports claimed he earned up to $70 million a day. He bought entire neighborhoods, fleets of cars, jets, and even his own zoo, complete with elephants, giraffes, and hippos. He built the sprawling hacienda in Naples, a drug-funded paradise in the Colombian countryside. He wasn't just rich, he was untouchable. But money wasn't enough for Pablo Escobar. He craved legitimacy. He craved adoration. In Medellín's poorest barrios, he became a modern-day Robin Hood. He built homes for the homeless, handed out food to hungry families, and funded local soccer fields and schools. The people called him Don Pablo and El Patron. They painted murals of his face. For many, he wasn't a criminal, he was a saint. But beneath the surface of that generosity was a man who ruled through terror. Escobar invented a philosophy that became infamous across Colombia. Plata o plomo, silver or lead. Take his bribe or take a bullet. He ordered the murders of anyone who stood in his way: judges, police officers, journalists, presidential candidates. His war against the Colombian state was brutal, calculated, and relentless. Perhaps no act captures his brutality more than the bombing of Avianca Flight 203 in 1989. 107 innocent lives were lost, collateral damage, in his attempt to kill a political rival. That same year, he appeared on Forbes' list of the richest men in the world. Escobar was no longer a drug dealer, he was a narco-terrorist with a personal army and a nation on its knees. As the violence spiraled, the Colombian government, under increasing pressure from the United States, launched an all-out assault on Escobar and his cartel. The CIA and Colombian National Police formed a united front, determined to bring down the Kingpin. But Escobar had one final trick up his sleeve. In 1991, facing imminent arrest and the threat of extradition to the United States, Escobar did something no one expected. He surrendered, but he didn't go to prison, he built one. La Catedral, his personal fortress, sat atop a foggy hill outside Medellín. It had a bar, a waterfall, a soccer field, and full-time staff. It was less a prison and more a resort. From within its luxurious walls, Escobar continued to run his empire with impunity. But power, even behind palace walls, has limits. When he ordered the execution of two cartel members within La Catedral, the government finally acted. They moved to transfer him to a real prison. But Escobar, always one step ahead, escaped. Now a fugitive, he became the target of the largest manhunt in Colombian history. A special unit, the Search Block, was formed solely to find him. They were aided by the United States and a shadowy vigilante group called Los Peps, composed of rival drug traffickers and former allies turned enemies. One by one, they dismantled his network, killing his associates, burning his assets, and leaking intelligence to authorities. Escobar's world shrank by the day. By 1993, the man who once ruled a drug empire larger than some nations was hiding in the walls of Medellín, like a ghost, isolated, paranoid, broke. The myth of Pablo Escobar was unraveling. Then, on December 2, 1993, a single phone call sealed his fate. Authorities traced the call to a small neighborhood in Medellín. Escobar was spotted on a rooftop, barefoot and armed. As he tried to escape across the tiles, a firefight broke out. Moments later, it was over. A bullet, some say from police. Others say self-inflicted, ended the life of the world's most notorious drug lord. He was 44 years old. His body was laid out on the rooftop, surrounded by soldiers and police posing triumphantly for photos. It was a chilling image. The man who once held an entire nation hostage now lay lifeless in the dust. The world exhaled. Colombia wept. But even in death, Escobar remained a paradox. Some mourned him as a hero. Others cheered the end of a monster. His grave in Itagüí became a pilgrimage site. His legacy became entertainment fuel for books, documentaries, and television shows. But the true cost of his empire is not in the millions he made or the properties he owned. It is in the thousands of lives lost, the families destroyed, the fear that lingered long after his last breath. Today, Medellín is a city reborn, but its scars remain. Pablo Escobar's rise and fall is more than a story of drugs and violence. It is a story of ambition without conscience, of power without mercy, and of a man who tried to become a god only to be undone by the very chaos he created.